Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of my first look at Train Sim World 2. We are going to look at Cajon Pass. I'll be covering the tutorials, looking at the scenarios, the journeys and all that jazz. So let's look at journeys for Cajon Pass. So we've got rookie, ups and downs, SoCal chords, concrete results, the switcher, trial by fire, sorted and season of storms. So all got unlocked. That got locked now. That's quite cool. So you got to unlock journeys. I like that. That's a good idea. I really like that. But yeah. So scenarios. Let's have a look at that. Scenarios. We've got shop class. Prepare an EC44C4 and bring it into service as the lead of the formation. Through the fire and flames. Good song. There's been reports of a wildfire along the track. Be extra careful when taking the ES44C4 on a run through Barstow. Barstow away. Inspect a formation on the inspection lines at Barstow. Slip inside the eye of your mind. Torrential rain has caused a landslide between in the cutting. Cut over onto the UP lines, avoiding traffic to make it to the destination. Command and concrete is spend a shift moving around in cars in the Victorville plant, so that's like switching. Oh. There's a free roam scenario, for fuck's sake. How boring. But yeah, so let's get in and do these training modules. So let's do the route intro and get started. Welcome to Cajon Pass.
Welcome to Barstow in San Bernardino County, Southern California. Here you can explore the expansive freight yard before you head out, following the famous Route 66 through the Mojave Desert into San Bernardino.
Been to the Mojave Desert.
There's a missing safety sign over there. Let's go fix it while you're here.
Where? Oh, so it's automatically changed to feet, which they're using modifier. Oh yeah, safety sign.
There are many more tasks to discover on this route.
Not like they do in America.
Along the way, make sure to put up route maps, install safety signs, refill water caches, and visit the food trucks.
Food trucks? Haha. Trucks, that's hilarious.
Today, we'll be riding along in this ES44C4. Climb aboard and take a seat.
John Skywalker. So you've got climb up animation for this, but not the 66. Okay then.
To date, BNSF have rostered over 300 ES44C4 units. The ES in the name of this model denotes that it's part of GE's Evolution series, and the 44 its rated horsepower of 4,400. C denotes that it has 3 axles per truck, and the 4, it's 4 traction motors. Barstow Yard contains 48 directional tracks. It covers a total area of 593 acres. That's 240 hectares. It is the second largest marshalling yard west of the Rocky Mountains. Although this yard has been in operation since the 19th century, much of what you see today was constructed in the early 1970s at a cost of over $50 million.
It's the first time being accepted.
Today, around 1,000 staff are employed here to route freight to and from the Mojave, Needles, and Cajon subdivisions. Each year, over 150,000 locomotives stop at or pass through Barstow Yard. And each day, over 175,000 tons of freight is moved through San Bernardino County. On this route, you will learn to operate ES-44C4 as you tackle stunning mountain ranges through the winding curves of California. And serve local industry as you switch and cut formations in the SD-40-2. You pick the pace. This is Train Sim World Cajon Pass.
No, it's not made for kids, so don't ask me again. Woohoo! Go to the main menu. To the trains, choose a route. Actually, it is... no, I don't want Castle Versberg. Ah! Cool. So there's like some more tutorial-y stuff. So let's get let's like get this out of the way. And then we'll do the other stuff. Hill start and dynamic braking production.
In this training module, you'll be learning how to perform a hill start and practice the switch from throttle to braking as you crest a gradient and go from ascending to descending. You'll be using GE ES-44C4 locomotives hauling heavy intermodal freight. Now you'll go through the steps needed to take over this locomotive.
Set the generator field switch to on. Set the reverser handle. Set the reverser to forward. That beep needs to go.
When getting moving, it's worth remembering the following sequence that was covered in the locomotive training modules. Independent on, auto off. Throttle on, independent off. Let's go through that slowly and understand why. If you apply power too quickly, the wheels will slip. If this happens, reduce the amount of power to regain control and then gently reapply.
There we are.
If you are struggling for grip, apply sand to increase traction.
I ain't struggling much. Hold X and down on the D-pad to avoid sand. Ah, nice.
That's it. You're moving forwards under power. If you use the same start process every time you begin moving, it'll become second nature.
driving down the So we've got feet instead of yards now. Including a map. There's the map. There is a summit. We've got Barstow up here. And then I believe is San Bernardino down here. It's 3 yards. Who wants some ball? Always got the pinky, and got some moons and huskies. So I'm just going to coast.
Congratulations, you have reached the summit. As you start your descent, you'll need to switch to dynamic brakes to control your speed. The most effective speed for dynamic brakes is around 30 miles per hour. So if you're exceeding that speed, you should be slowing down. Above 30 miles per hour, the dynamic brakes become a lot less effective, and you would be more reliant on the automatic brake. The automatic brake on its own will not provide enough fine control over the speed of the train. It's a blunt instrument, because you can't partially release the brakes, and they take a few minutes to apply to the setting you've asked for. If you try to rely on just the automatic brake, you will often find yourself coming to a halt, or going over speed while you wait anxiously for the brakes to apply. Watch the train speed as it crests the top of the gradient. You'll go from needing power to maintain speed to finding that power starting to accelerate the train. When you see that, start backing off power and aim to keep your speed below 30 miles per hour.
Okay, we'll go to 30 miles per hour. Do love the running sounds, that sound good.
Once your throttle is at zero and you're starting to pick up speed a little, it's time to get the dynamic brakes into their setup position. They'll need to be there for 10 seconds before you can use them further.
Dynamic brake to set up.
Start adding dynamic brake as needed to keep the speed in check. The dynamic brake is only on the locomotive and will react nearly instantly. As you begin to get to larger amounts of dynamic brake needing to be applied, it's time to bring in the automatic brake to help. In most cases, a minimum set of automatic brake is enough. Apply that now. Watch out that on some locomotives, as you apply the automatic brake, this will cut the dynamic brake out entirely. This is because of the brakes applying on your locomotive.
I hate dynamic.
If you notice this happening, pull the independent brake towards you into the bail-off position, and it will release those brakes only, leaving the automatic brake on the rest of the train. And you will see the dynamic brake come back into action immediately. As the automatic brake begins to take effect down the length of the train, you'll notice the train begin to slow down due to the extra braking effort. Gently dial back the amount of dynamic brake to compensate for this, and continue to try and aim to keep your speed around, but not exceeding 30 miles per hour.
That's going swimmingly, isn't it?
If you find that full dynamic brake is unable to hold the train speed, add a little air with the automatic brake. Wait to see how the train reacts, and adjust with the dynamics as needed. Always work under your target speed of 30 miles per hour. If you find yourself chasing faster speeds, you'll need to take more substantial corrective action with the automatic brake. Okay, come to a stop up ahead using the automatic brake.
So, stopping at about 5,000 feet. Next we'll be looking at Schnellfahrstrecke Kassel to Wolfsburg. The same things. There's some kind of solar panel thing. What a beautiful. Didn't see that.
Right. Well, that concludes this training module. It is highly recommended that you practice both hill starting and the change from ascent to descent until you are comfortable with them. They are one of the more challenging aspects of operating heavy freight, and you'll really feel like you're in more control of this train as you get the hang of this task.
That was interesting. So let's go into the trains. Let's have a look. Both training modules are done there, so that's cool. So we'll go well journeys now. Cajon Pass. Going to Rookie, then we'll go do these two, and then I'm going to do a scenario. No. I'm going to do a service. I'm going to look at a service and then go in and do a scenario. This is going to be a couple of hours.
In this training module, you'll be learning how to drive this ES-44C4 locomotive in BNSF railway livery. The ES-44C4 is the fourth generation of the GE Evolution series. It started production in 2009 and continued to be built until 2015. Rated at 4,400 horsepower, these beasts are primarily used for heavy freight and intermodal traffic. When you're ready to begin, climb aboard. Sit in the engineer's seat.
It was a bit unsure then, wasn't he?
Now you'll go through the steps needed to take over this locomotive. Firstly, you will need to set the generator field switch. This needs to be enabled for the throttle to control the power of the train.
Generate the field switch to on.
This locomotive requires the reverser handle to be inserted before operation.
Set reverser handle.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Set it to forward.
Switch the front headlights on. Regardless of the time of day or weather, all locomotives must have their headlights on. When getting moving, it's worth remembering the following sequence. Independent on, auto off, throttle on, independent off. Let's go through that slowly and understand why. First, fully apply the independent brake. This will ensure that regardless of anything else, your train won't move. Next, fully release the automatic brake. This will release the brakes on the rest of the train, but you won't go anywhere because those independent brakes are holding you. Now apply a small amount of throttle and verify that power is generated. Finally, release the independent brake and you'll start moving. This is a great practice to get used to because it'll help you with two key areas. The first is that you verify that the train will take power before you release the brakes. You don't want to find yourself without power and having to hurriedly put the brakes back on. The second is that having power applied as you release the independent brakes ensures that you won't roll backwards. On steeper hill starts, you may even need to start with more power. And this is something you can practice and get used to as you find yourself out on the railroad. If you have any locomotives on the rear of the train behind freight cars, you can press the banking comms button. to enable radio communications with those remote units. This will ensure that they operate their throttle and brakes in unison with your own locomotive, giving you much-needed extra control on your journey. Press it now, just to get practice, even though there aren't any connected. Coasting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce motor stress and maintenance requirements. Come to a stop in the indicated position using the independent brake. Independent brakes apply only to the locomotives in the formation and are much faster to apply and release than the automatic brake, which operates on the entire train.
Okay, so this is a bug. What you've got to do is put the engine run switch on as well, and then you should be able to apply power. Yeah, there we are. So that's a bug. And now we're now applying power. Rail shine, hell yes. Quite a big one then. Just what she said. Dreading long lines. Skip the queue of express cars. Look at them cows. I love D2.
Change direction with a reverser. Then change the junction indicated, either by walking over to it or using the map. Before proceeding, check the two couplers are in the right position to allow for automatic coupling. Look at the rear coupler on your train and ensure it's open. Operate the cut bar if it is closed to release it. Next, walk over to the freight cars you're going to couple to and check their coupler knuckle is open too. Operate the cut bar here. Open the knuckle. Before coupling cars, always check the knuckles are open, or you'll just bounce right off.
Knuckles are open. Well, I prefer Sonic myself.
Okay. The junction is correctly aligned and the cars are ready to couple. Couple up to the cars by gently driving into them at a slow speed. And most freight uses automatic knuckle couplers, so they will automatically couple once they connect.
Good, good. I don't want that big. Much stress. I do not want that big. Post the rest of the way.
If your speed is too high, you risk derailing when coupling. Apply some brakes to slow your approach.
There's 4 more parts to come after this, that'll be Schneider, no, 3 more parts. That'll be Schneider,
Hey,
Selfie
nice
Selfie,
work.
and Spirit.
Change direction with the reverser and move the train forward into the indicated siding. Remember to apply a little power before releasing brakes. While it's not strictly necessary in the training center, this is the time to start forming great habits. Since you have freight cars coupled, you should slow down using the automatic brake and get the extra braking effort from those freight cars. The automatic brake applies brakes throughout the entire train.
Final post. Oh, fuck. Don't want to smash into the buffers. Oh, we're going to smash into the buffers.
Uncouple the cars either by using the external camera or by walking to the cars on foot. That's it for this training module.
Yep, it is. So there's the EC44C4 train. Bronze? Really? Right, so, long train and brakes introduction. Then we're going to look at the skies, and then I'm going to do a scenario, and that'll be Cajon Pass. Cajon. I've got Cajon.
Alright, in this training module, you'll be learning about the different brake types found in a typical U.S. freight locomotive. Take a seat in the engineer's position.
Remember guys, 3-point contact.
Now you'll go through the steps needed to take over this locomotive.
And the and the engine one, because that's turned off by default, weirdly enough.
Now this locomotive has three types of brakes: independent, automatic, and dynamic. And the operation of them can be counterintuitive until you get the hang of how they work. The independent brake applies brakes on just the locomotives and should be used when running a light loco or performing hill starts. They respond very quickly, but it won't be of great use when you've got a long, heavy train behind you. The automatic brake applies brakes on the entire formation and should be used when bringing a consist to a stop, assisting the dynamic brakes on steep descents, or otherwise making more substantial speed decreases. These brakes are slow to respond, and you can't partially release them. So if you want a bit less braking, you have to release them entirely, wait for the system to repressurize, and then you can reapply. The dynamic brake uses the locomotive's traction motors to slow the train down. These can be very effective at controlling your speed on descents, and are mostly effective between around 10 and 30 miles per hour. Either side of that, you're going to need one of the other brake systems. There are several gauges used to describe what is happening in the brake system of this locomotive, and they're common to a wide range of locomotives. The brake cylinder, or BC gauge, tells you the amount of pressure going directly onto the wheels. Now, this is ultimately how much braking effort is stopping your train. If it's zero, the train is not applying any brakes. The independent brake lever directly controls this, but be aware that this is only reporting the state of the brake cylinder on your own locomotive, and not the rest of the train. Apply the independent brake now to full, and notice that the BC gauge rapidly changes to reflect that.
Independent brake to full application. Blimey, that was slow, wasn't it? Where did they get them from? The same place where Rivet get their
The brake pipe, or BP gauge, tells you the amount of pressure on the brake pipe that extends the length of the entire train. On U.S. freight, this is pressurized to 90 psi as normal. The brake pipe serves two functions. One is to provide air to all the freight cars down the length of the train so they can charge their own reservoirs. The other is that its pressure controls what the other vehicles do with their brakes. At 90 psi, the brakes on all vehicles will be released. As the brake pressure in the brake pipe drops below 90 psi, the other vehicles will apply brakes. Depending on the length of your train, changing the pressure on the brake pipe can be quite time-consuming, whether charging it up to release the brakes or reducing the pressure to apply them. And this is the reason that automatic brakes are tricky to use. The brake pipe works in conjunction with another system called the equalizing reservoir. Because charging the brake pipe is time-consuming, and you don't want to be watching that to find the right pressure, the equalizing reservoir is a much faster responding gauge, and is what you primarily use to control the brake pipe. The automatic brake handle controls the equalizing reservoir. Apply the brakes a little with a lever, it will cause the equalizing reservoir to lower in pressure rapidly to the desired level. This causes the brake pipe to begin slowly changing to match the equalizing reservoir, and it'll automatically stop once it has done so.
Jesus Christ, he talks slow.
Release the automatic brake, and you will see the equalizing reservoir rapidly. Now there are some key behaviors of this system to remember. The longer the formation, the slower the brake pipe will be to respond. You cannot partially release automatic brakes. If you are braking too much, you may need to fully release the brakes, allow the brake pipe to get back to 90 psi again, and then you can reapply them. This should be carefully considered, however, as you will have no air brakes during this time.
Weather's changed, it's got more misty.
Bring the train to a stop in the indicated position using the automatic brake.
Services and timetables after this. Cajon Pass is 86 miles long, I believe. Muddy one. Little containers. That's quite a bit of reduction. Hopeful stop. I like how all of this is done in training, so that's pretty good. I've got a service in mind that I want to show you guys, because when I saw it last night, I thought it was wow. Beautiful stars.
Well, that concludes this training module. It's covered a lot of theory, but understanding the way these brakes work will help you understand why your train reacts the way it does. These freight trains are nothing like modern passenger trains, fast-acting and fully controllable brakes. But equally, they must manage massive, long, and heavy trains on steep gradients. An entirely different kind of challenge. Run this module again in the training center and repeat it any time you need a refresher.
That's awesome. Wow. That's awesome. got a gold on that one. So let's look at the timetable mode now. So we go to the trains, choose route, Cajon Pass. Timetable, we have, don't actually know. So routes we have, ignore that. Don't actually say how many. Cajon Pass. Got all of these. Doesn't show you how many services we've got. Oh yeah, it does. 126. Which isn't a lot, but you know, it's what it is. So we've got a lot of stuff like this at all different times of day. I'm gonna load into the one which I think people will like. We're not gonna do it all, so light clouds. Oh yes. Dynamic weather plenty. That is not what I meant.
Hi Jamie, how you doing? Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Absolutely loving it at the moment. Really enjoying it. Just a couple of issues though, just like we've not seen the 395
Anyway.
training centre, or the 465 or the 375.
I have.
But yeah, otherwise it's really good.
I've seen him at TC. So I did that wrong. Did it in the wrong month. Duh. Right. A little bit of cloud, lightning storm. Hopefully it'll change into that. I just want to look at the lighting. I do like that. Yeah, interesting. That's not the that's not the right that's not the right thing. I can't remember. Let me just check something because I'm doing something wrong here because I'm a bleeding idiot. Excuse me a second, guys. I'll just. It was September. Service 1813 September. 1813 September, light clouds. Trying to get the really nice lighting. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. That is beautiful. Get the banking, come on. Hopefully we'll see some change in weather here, although brother needs to put the cursor forward. Oh, look at the beautiful sky. Oh, no. Anyway. So beautiful lighting in the sky. Oh yeah. How long was our train? 95 cars long. Nice. A long one. It's not a slow American route too, so that's good. Tell you what, it's getting darker. Nice. Clouds do move, which is nice. So you can see it slowly move as the world rotates around its orbit, around the sun. Not to get scientific. Oh, and there is AI only in stock which need share management. So let's do a scenario and then that'll be it for Cajon Pass. Well, not it, but you know, end of this bloody thing. So let's choose a route. Cajon Pass scenarios, and we'll do shop class. Really enjoying this so far. We've been going for 59 minutes. That's what she said. Good morning, engineer. It's a nice and early start off with a cold start on this pair of EC44C4s. And head over to the reception yard. Oh, cold start. Look at the lighting. Holy mother in heaven. Beautiful. Reflection. Gotta put the blind down because that is something. There we are. Are you ready? Oh, we really are. Cold start, that's cool. There's a mixed manifest waiting at West Reception Yard. Check the switches because that's important. We derail. What a beautiful sunrise. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, never mind. Oh, I see. We are like going around on a loop. That's cool. Going around the big loop. Oh no, 10 mile an hour. Just a quick preface, these are all my own faults. I am not paid in any way to say them. I paid for this with my own money. I did not get sent any kind of code. I'm not an ambassador. Going around this curve. Just look how beautiful that is. Absolutely beautiful. We'll be getting preservation crew updates on Tuesday. There will be a full detailed oh hello, you just popped in. Things are popping in. Draw distances, well, yep. Slowly making our way to Barstow Yard number 1812. Don't understand that. This is a reference to Argos. Or the post office actually these days. Very nice. going down the locomotive onto the fuel station. Okay. Boing. That's a bug. That's a bug. Just going to read this quickly. Let us head back there. Well joints. This much. I'm loving this. Absolutely beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. Right down to 10 miles an hour. coming into two vehicles. Make sure my coupler is now. What we've got left to do? Oh, couple and that's it. Coming up to the formation now. Oh, it's crashed. Oh, that was a weird stutter. Good work. That's all, at least for this morning. Wait here until we're done with the inspection. Then we're ready to go.
So the approach to Ebbsfleet is like, I have no idea.
Gold, hence is gold. So, that concludes this look at Cajon Pass. Next we have Schnellfahrstrecke Castle to Wolfsburg. So I hope to see you then. Goodbye for now.